The battle of no contact is never fought in the space between two people. It is fought in the silence within yourself. When two souls pull away, it may seem as if the distance itself is the enemy. You start to believe that the silence is the problem, that the lack of words is what hurts. But in truth, the real struggle begins inside you. The silence is not there to break you. It is there to show you who you are when nothing external feeds your emotions. When communication ends, your thoughts become louder. The mind starts to replay memories, to build stories, to question every action and every silence. It tries to fill the void with noise. You begin to wonder what the other person is thinking, whether they miss you, whether they've moved on. But this noise is not real. It is the ego refusing to sit still. It's the part of you that feels abandoned, that seeks validation, that wants to be right. Yet in this quiet battlefield, the only way to win is to realize that no one else is your opponent. The opponent is your own attachment, your own restlessness. When you feel that ache to reach out, to break the silence, you are standing at the gate of your true training. You can either act from impulse or remain still and watch your emotions rise and fall. To remain still is not weakness, it is mastery. It means you can observe your pain without letting it guide your actions. That is the essence of inner power, to feel everything yet choose peace. The world may teach you to react, to chase, to demand answers, but wisdom teaches you to pause. In the pause you find clarity. In clarity you find strength. The mind often confuses silence with defeat. It whispers, you are losing them, or they don't care. But what if silence is not loss, but purification? What if this distance is life's way of teaching you self-reliance? Sometimes when words are gone, you finally meet yourself. You begin to hear your own heart without the echo of someone else's. You see how much of your peace depended on another person's presence. The moment you see that, you begin to reclaim your power. Winning the silent battle does not mean the other person returns. It does not mean you prove anything to them. It means you stop being a prisoner of your own emotions. You learn to let the storm pass without stepping into it. You understand that silence is not punishment, it's a lesson in self-mastery. You discover that peace cannot be taken away if it does not depend on someone else. In the absence of contact, your discipline is tested. Do you chase the noise or sit with the silence? Do you let your emotions rule you, or do you rule them? Every moment you choose calm over reaction, you grow stronger. Every time you let the urge pass, you train the mind to obey the heart's wisdom instead of its fear. This is how you transform pain into purpose. This is how silence becomes your greatest teacher. So, when the silence feels heavy, do not fight it. Let it teach you what no words ever could. That the true battle is not about who reaches out first, but who remains grounded when everything else disappears. The one who conquers their own restlessness conquers the silence itself. And in that victory, the need to win simply fades away. In moments of silence, when no message comes and no sound breaks the distance, the greatest noise arises within you. The urge to reach out begins as a whisper, a simple thought, a gentle pull. But soon it grows louder, pressing against your patience, testing your strength. The heart wants relief, not peace. It wants to do something, anything to end the tension. Yet the deeper truth is that the urge itself is not the enemy. It is the teacher. It shows you where you still seek control, where you still depend on response for validation. To control the urge is not about denying your feelings. It's about mastering your reactions. Every emotion is a visitor. It comes, It stays, it goes. But when you cling to it, it takes root and grows wild. The urge to contact, to speak, to explain, it all rises from the same place, the need to ease discomfort. You think that if you just send one message, if you just break the silence, the pain will end. But the truth is, acting on impulse only feeds the fire. You momentarily silence your thoughts, yet soon after, regret begins to speak louder than before. There is a quiet kind of power in choosing not to act, to breathe through the urge, to watch it without following it. That is self-control. That is discipline. When you can feel the pull yet remain still, you are no longer a slave to emotion. You are the observer of it. And in that observation, you find freedom. It is not easy. The mind will fight you. It will tell you that silence means loss, that action is courage, that waiting is weakness. But strength is not measured by movement. It is measured by mastery. Anyone can react. Only the strong can stay still and allow the storm to pass without being moved by it. When you resist the impulse to reach out, you are not losing connection. You are building character. You are teaching your mind to serve you, not control you. Imagine the urge as a wave rising inside you. If you panic, the wave crashes over you and you drown in it. But if you stay calm, you realize that waves always return to stillness. So too does the heart. The discomfort that feels unbearable at first becomes manageable, then fades. You begin to see that emotions are temporary, but your choices define who you are. Each time you control the urge, your inner silence deepens. You begin to hear your intuition more clearly, not the anxious voice of fear, but the grounded voice of wisdom. You realize that true power lies not in forcing outcomes, but in mastering yourself. You become untouchable by external chaos because you have found order within. When you learn to pause before you act, a transformation happens. You no longer seek to win the silent battle by getting the last word or breaking the stillness first. You win by no longer needing to. The one who remains composed while their emotions demand reaction is the one who truly understands peace. It is not about ignoring what you feel, but about letting what you feel pass through you without owning it. This control does not make you cold. It makes you clear. You start to act with intention, not impulse. You speak only when your words serve peace, not pain. And in doing so, you rise above the endless push and pull of emotional reaction. You no longer chase energy, you conserve it. You no longer seek closure from others, you create it within. So when the urge calls to you, breathe. Let it rise, let it peak, and let it fall away. Each time you do, you sharpen your mind and strengthen your heart. This is how you begin to master yourself, by learning to stay still when everything inside you wants to move. In that stillness, you discover true freedom. To detach is not to stop caring, it is to stop clinging. Many misunderstand detachment, thinking it means to turn cold or indifferent, to close the heart and shut out emotion. But true detachment is not a lack of feeling. It is the presence of clarity. It is the understanding that love does not have to mean possession, that connection does not have to mean control. When you detach, you do not love less, you love with wisdom. You allow things and people to be as they are without forcing them to fit your expectations. In the silent battle, detachment becomes your greatest weapon. When contact fades and distance grows, the mind starts to grasp for certainty. It wants to know why, when, how. It wants to hold on to what once felt safe. But the more you cling, the more you suffer. The truth is, attachment creates fear, fear of loss, fear of change, fear of being alone. Detachment dissolves that fear because it reminds you that nothing external defines your worth. You can care deeply, yet remain free from the chains of dependence. Detachment does not make you emotionless. It simply gives your emotions space to breathe. It allows you to feel sadness without being consumed by it, to feel love without being blinded by it. You begin to understand that emotions are part of your experience, not the center of your identity. You are not the feeling. You are the awareness behind it, and in that awareness, peace is born. When you let go of clinging, something magical happens. You stop chasing and start attracting. The energy you once wasted trying to control others returns to you. You begin to radiate calmness, balance, and quiet strength. People feel that energy. They sense that you are not moved by fear or desperation. And paradoxically, it is in that stillness that true connection becomes possible. Because love, when it is not chained by attachment, becomes pure. It is no longer about what you can get, but what you can give without losing yourself. Detachment teaches you the art of trust. Trust in the natural flow of life. Trust in timing. Trust in yourself. It allows you to step back and see the bigger picture. Maybe the silence you're enduring is not a punishment, but a path. Maybe the distance is not meant to break you, but to prepare you. When you release the need to control outcomes, you make space for life to bring what truly belongs to you. Every time you hold on tightly, you close your hand. But when you open your hand, you allow both letting go and receiving. Detachment is that open hand. It does not resist life, it flows with it. It accepts what comes and allows what goes. This is the balance of peace. The one who practices it no longer fears endings, because they understand that nothing real can ever be lost. When you detach, your heart becomes light. You stop confusing love with attachment. You realize that you can wish someone well even if they are no longer near. You can feel gratitude for what was without needing it to be what it once was. You begin to live from fullness, not from lack. The silent battle is won not through force, but through surrender, not by chasing, but by releasing. Detachment is not escape, it is evolution. It is the quiet confidence that whether someone stays or leaves, your peace remains untouched. That is true freedom, to love without holding, to care without craving, and to walk away without bitterness. And when you reach that place, silence is no longer something you endure. It becomes something you understand. Energy grows where attention goes. Whatever you feed with your focus becomes stronger, whether it is peace or pain. In the silence of no contact, your thoughts have immense power. If your attention remains fixed on the absence of the other, the emptiness deepens. But when you shift that same attention inward, the same silence that once felt heavy begins to nourish you. The truth is simple. Your energy follows your awareness, and what you repeatedly think about becomes the landscape of your inner world. When the mind is consumed by questions, what are they thinking? Why haven't they reached out? Will they ever return? Your peace is handed away piece by piece. You become a prisoner of what is beyond your control. The mind thrives on attention, and when you direct it toward the unknown, it creates endless stories. Each story strengthens your attachment and weakens your spirit. But the moment you pull that energy back to yourself, the dynamic changes. You start to rebuild what silence once seemed to take from you. Bringing your focus inward does not mean ignoring your emotions. It means observing them with awareness. It means noticing your sadness without drowning in it, noticing your longing without letting it rule you. It's about asking yourself, where is my energy going right now? Is it feeding fear or feeding growth? Because every thought is an investment and every emotion is a seed. What you plant in silence will bloom in your life, in the stillness of no contact. You are given a rare opportunity to redirect your attention toward what truly matters, your own balance, your own purpose, your own evolution. This is the time to rebuild the connection that was always most important, the one with yourself. You can use the energy you once poured into waiting and worrying to strengthen your mind, care for your body, and deepen your spirit. The quiet becomes a mirror showing you where your focus has been scattered. When you learn to master your attention, you take back your power. You realize that you can choose where your thoughts rest. You can choose to feed peace instead of anxiety. You can choose to nurture understanding instead of resentment. The power of choice is always yours, even in silence, especially in silence. It is easy to let your thoughts spiral toward what you've lost, but that only keeps the wound open. Healing begins the moment you turn your energy inward and start cultivating stillness. As you do, the silence no longer feels like an empty space. It becomes sacred ground for self-growth. The same silence that once hurt now heals. The same distance that once felt cold becomes a space where you return to your true self. When your focus is on yourself, you begin to see that peace was never dependent on another person's presence. It lived within you all along, buried under layers of attachment and noise. By withdrawing your attention from what is gone, you allow that peace to surface again. You become centered, grounded, unshaken. Energy responds to direction. When you pour it into self-understanding, your vibration rises. When you pour it into patience, clarity emerges. When you pour it into gratitude, your heart becomes light. In this way, you transform silence into strength and solitude into wisdom. So, as you stand in the middle of this quiet battlefield, remember that what you feed will grow. If you feed worry, it will consume you. If you feed peace, it will protect you. The difference is where you choose to place your attention. Pull your focus back home to yourself. That is how you win the silent battle without ever having to fight. The one who waits with peace always wins. In the silent battle of no contact, time becomes the greatest test. The longer the quiet stretches, the more restless the heart grows. You begin to wonder if the silence means you've been forgotten, if waiting is foolish, or if moving on too soon means surrender. But the truth is, waiting in peace is not about counting the days. It is about mastering your inner rhythm. It is about standing still in the storm without letting the wind of uncertainty shake your foundation. When both sides stay silent, one may try to win by appearing stronger, colder, or more detached. Yet real strength does not hide behind walls. It rests in calmness. The one who waits in peace is not pretending to be unbothered. They are genuinely unshaken. They understand that emotional control is not about suppressing feelings, but about holding steady through them. While the restless heart seeks answers, the peaceful heart already knows that answers come in their own time. Peaceful waiting is not passive. It is active self-mastery. It is choosing stillness when the mind wants to rush, choosing trust when doubt whispers, and choosing patience when pride demands reaction. This kind of waiting transforms you. It teaches you how to sit in uncertainty without losing your center. It reveals how much power you actually have, the power to remain unbroken, even when nothing outside of you feels certain. To wait in peace means to no longer chase clarity from others. You begin to create clarity within. You stop expecting closure to arrive through someone else's words, and you realize that real closure comes through your own acceptance. Every day you remain calm. Instead of reaching out, you strengthen your spirit. Every moment you resist the urge to prove your worth, you reclaim your energy. The peace you build during silence becomes the armor you wear for the rest of your life. Waiting with peace is not about hoping someone returns. It is about returning to yourself. You learn to fill your own silence with purpose. You focus on growth instead of outcome, healing instead of guessing. You begin to understand that the one who keeps their peace is never truly waiting. They are evolving. The stillness becomes their teacher, and time becomes their ally. Each quiet moment refines them, sharpening their awareness and deepening their patience. Many people lose themselves in waiting because they focus on what they cannot control, the other person, their decision, their timing. But peace is found in releasing that control. The moment you stop resisting what is, you stop suffering. You cannot rush what is not ready, nor can you force what is not meant. When you wait with peace, you stop fighting time. You trust that whatever belongs to you will find you, and what doesn't will fade quietly, without bitterness. There is a silent power in calm patience. It unsettles those who expect reaction. It confuses those who seek validation. It protects you from emotional exhaustion. The one who can sit in stillness while others act from impulse always ends up stronger, because peace is not a weakness. It is presence. It means you are connected to yourself more deeply than to the situation around you. The silent battle is not about who speaks first or who appears unaffected. It is about who remains in harmony with their own heart. Waiting with peace means trusting that your energy will speak louder than your words. It means letting time reveal what pressure cannot. The one who keeps their inner calm, no matter the silence outside, always wins. Not over another, but over themselves. And when that victory is achieved, nothing external can ever shake it again. Silence is the language of strength. In a world where everyone rushes to speak, to explain, to defend, silence becomes a rare form of power. It is not emptiness. It is energy held in balance. When you can walk away without anger, stay quiet without resentment, and remain still without fear, you have already mastered yourself. Silence does not mean weakness. It means wisdom. It is the understanding that not every emotion deserves expression, not every thought needs to be shared, and not every battle requires your participation. In the silence of no contact, this truth becomes clearer than ever. The desire to be heard is one of the strongest human urges. You want to explain your side, express your pain, or remind the other of your worth. But when you resist that urge, when you allow the silence to exist without trying to break it, something shifts inside you. You begin to realize that peace is not created through words. It is preserved through restraint. Every time you choose not to react, you strengthen your foundation. You prove to yourself that you are guided by self-respect, not by emotion. Silence teaches you patience. It trains you to trust that not everything needs to be resolved right away. In silence, you learn to observe rather than react, to listen rather than argue, to reflect rather than defend. You begin to see that the one who speaks less often understands more. For in quiet observation, the mind becomes sharper and the heart becomes lighter. You start to hear what noise once covered, your own intuition, and that voice, once faint, becomes your greatest guide. True silence is not the absence of sound, it is the absence of inner conflict. It is when your thoughts, emotions, and intentions align in harmony. You no longer battle with what is or chase what was. You accept the present moment as it is, and in that acceptance, peace naturally arises. This is why silence is not passive. It is deeply active. It requires discipline to stay quiet when the ego demands attention, courage to remain still when your heart aches for action, and faith to trust that the truth does not need to be spoken to be known. In the silent battle between two hearts, the one who holds peace within will always stand taller. Words can be manipulated, actions can be misunderstood, but silence cannot lie. It reflects your strength, your clarity, and your self-control. When you stay silent with grace, you send a message louder than any words could carry. That you are in control of yourself. That your value is not dependent on being seen or heard, and that your peace is not negotiable. There is also a sacred kind of healing in silence. It allows wounds to close naturally instead of being reopened through endless conversations and explanations. It teaches you how to sit with discomfort until it transforms into understanding. You stop needing to prove your love, your loyalty, or your pain. You realize that your energy speaks long after your voice has gone quiet. Those who are meant to understand will feel it even from afar. Over time, you come to see silence not as punishment, but as protection. It guards your dignity when emotions run high. It gives you time to think, to heal, and to rise. It helps you detach from noise and return to essence. It shows you that true communication does not always happen through words. Sometimes it happens through presence, energy, and peace. When you reach the point where you can remain silent without feeling powerless, you have mastered the art of strength. You no longer seek to win through reaction, you win through stillness. You no longer fight for validation, you rest in self-assurance. That is the language of strength, quiet, calm, and unshakable. And when you learn to speak it, you no longer need to win the silent battle, because you have already risen above it.